So the first thing that we need to do before we start creating our computer programs is create a new Scratch project. Now, Scratch is the programming language that we'll use to talk to the computer, and Scratch projects are where we'll be entering the code and commands that we need to talk with our computer. Now, there are two different ways that you can create new Scratch projects. You can create new Scratch projects online, which is what we'll look at in this video. To create new Scratch projects online, you need to have a pretty good connection to the internet. If you don't have a very good connection to the internet at home, or if you want to program in Scratch when you're not connected to the internet at all, for instance, if you're on a car ride or a bus ride or on a plane, or just anywhere that there isn't internet, then you'll want to watch the next video, which is how to create new Scratch projects offline or without using the internet. So to create a new Scratch project online, the first step is to open your web browser. Now you can use almost any web browser. You can use Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer or Safari or Microsoft Edge, any web browser that you like, so long as you have a pretty recent version. And I'll include a link to the system requirements for the online Scratch editor in the resources for this video. Once you have your web browser open, you should go to the URL scratch.mit.edu. And you can see in the address bar in my web browser that that is the URL that I am at right now. So if you go to scratch.mit.edu, the web page should look something like this. Once you're here, you'll need to create a new Scratch account. So go to the top right corner of the page, and there's this button that says Join Scratch. Click on that, and a window will pop up. First, you'll have to make up a username for your Scratch account. Then you'll have to pick a password. Make sure that your password is secure and that you haven't used this password with any other account on the internet. Enter your password twice, and when you're done, click the Next button at the bottom right corner of this window. On the next page, Scratch asks for your birth month and year, your gender, and what country you live in. None of this information is public. Scratch just wants to know this so that it can know more about the programmers that use its platform. So you can enter this information, and when you're done, click on the Next button in the bottom right-hand corner. On the next page, you'll have to enter an email address. Now, this can be your email address if you have one. It can be your parents' email address if you would like to do that. If neither you nor your parent have an email address, then one of you will have to get an email address in order to create an online Scratch account. Once you've figured out which email address you want to use, just enter it here twice. So, and if you want to receive updates from the Scratch team, you can check this box. If you don't want to receive extra emails, just leave it unchecked and click the Next button. So congratulations, you've created your own Scratch account. Now, in order to use this account to submit projects for this course, you'll have to go check the email address that you used to sign up and click the link in the email that Scratch sent you to confirm that, in fact, that is your email address. If you don't see the email in your inbox, check your spam folder to see if maybe it went there by accident. Once you've confirmed your email with Scratch, then your account is verified and you're good to go on to the next step. Okay, so I've created my online Scratch account. I confirmed my email address. Now I'm going to create my first Scratch project. To create my first Scratch project, go to the upper left-hand corner on this page, which is the same page we were on before, scratch.mit.edu. Let's go to the top left corner of this page and find this Create button. It says Create. Just click on the Create button. It should bring you to this page and ask you if you want to run Adobe Flash. Just click on this or whatever message or dialog pops up that asks you if you want to run Adobe Flash. So I'm going to click on this. It says, do you want to run Adobe Flash on this site? I do want to run it, and I want to remember this decision so that this doesn't pop up every time I try to open Scratch on this computer. So I click Allow. And here I am in the online Scratch editor. So this is the tool that we are going to use to build all of our Scratch projects during this course. Now, there's a ton of things that we can do in the Scratch editor, But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name our project. So find a cool name for it. We can always rename it later if we think of a better name. But if you look in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see there's this text box that says Untitled in it. So we can delete this text and replace it with a cool new title of our own. So I'm going to say, My First Scratch Project. If you want to save this project, go up to the File menu in the top left-hand corner where it says File right next to the Scratch logo. So it says Scratch, and next to that it says File. Click on the File menu and click on Save Now. And now your project has been saved. Congratulations! You've now created your very first Scratch project. Now I want to show you how to get back to this Scratch project if, let's say, you do some work on it and then you go out and you leave for the day and you come back the next day. How do we find this project again? Well, let's look at that. So I'm going to go back to the home page we were just on and then work our way back to this project again so that you can continue working on your project over multiple days. So here we are back on the home page of the Scratch website. In order to find the project that we just created, first go to the upper right-hand corner where it should say the name of the account that you created. So mine says Coding Foundations. Click on this button, on this drop-down, and then click on the My Stuff button that just drops down from here. So where it says My Stuff, we're going to click here. So when we go to My Stuff, it should show us a list of every project that we've created on the Scratch website so far. So here at the top of the list, you can see My First Scratch Project, which we just created. So there it is. In order to get back to the Scratch editor for this project, see the See Inside button that's right under My First Scratch Project. We want to click on the See Inside button because that button brings us back to the Scratch editor. So I click here. And here I am back in the Scratch editor with My First Scratch Project open for me to continue working on. So now you know how to create and work on a new Scratch project online. If you also want to find out how to create a new Scratch project when you're not connected to the internet at all, watch the next video about how to create a new Scratch project offline. If you're happy just using the online Scratch editor, then great. Go ahead and start watching the first level 1 video so that you can find out some of the cool commands that we can give to the computer using Scratch.